34%. Well, they're doubting it highly. And
I want an actual.
You're 23.
yeah,
You're the guy.
but most of that group, they don't make videos because they're young enough. It's like, oh, well, maybe it's not a globe, and they go off to do their thing. And when the media jumped on it, mainstream science was freaking out because they were saying, what's the explanation for this? Is it the education system? Is it this? What has gone wrong? Because you can't, it was an independent probe. It's not like we released the story. So what happened? And if that's the case, then it is millions and millions of people. And like I said, most of them were in the closet.
It's the awakening.
It's an awakening.
Yeah. But that story generated legs. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, not generated legs. It had legs. The other thing that it combined with was every other story up until now was leapfrogging over itself. So you had the Neil deGrasse Tyson B.O.B. thing, you had Kyrie Irving, and then in rapid succession you had the Mad Mike thing. The Mad Mike thing, even though it was drug out for 3 different stories, because it was like, oh, I'm going to launch. No, I'm not going to launch. Oh, a couple months later, I'm going to launch again. No, I'm not going to launch. Well, the reason why he finally launched.
Tell me.
He launched because there was a documentary team following him, and they don't have a film if he doesn't launch. So
yes.
The Mad Mike thing, the Mad Mike, the rocket thing. Yeah. Oh my God, dude, where have you been? Yeah, and he's only been in Flat Earth for a day. So the Mad Mike. So there was a guy that came to us, this stuntman junkyard rocket guy, and he came. Have you not been watching the news for the last 6 months?
Oh, I don't watch the news at all. I don't put my mind at all there.
So he comes to us for funding, and he says, hey, Flat Earth seems trendy. Can you give me some money to help finance the rocket? And that was done by the Penguin Squad down in New Mexico. And they contacted him and said, yeah, fine, we'll throw you $8,000. And he got...
You mean this isn't the rocket that went straight up and then stopped?
No, this is different. No, not that rocket.
This guy's in this thing.
Yeah, this guy's actually, it's an Evel Knievel Snake River clone.
Oh, okay.
And he was just going to, so he was going to do same technology, steam powered, and he wanted to just raise awareness for Flat Earth, right? So, for that money, we put a big sticker on the side of it. And he goes to launch, and he says, mechanical failures. Goes to launch again, no, I don't like the way the wind's blowing, or whatever it was. Mechanical failures again. And so finally, he launched. But the reason...
How high did he get?
A couple thousand feet. Who cares?
Right. It's only a couple.
Now he would have. No, it doesn't really matter because he could have died anyway. Like, hell, if he would have gone up 200 feet, he could have died. It's like a launch goes up and then the parachute. Yeah, but the media was divided between people saying, oh, he's going up to prove Flat Earth, which he wasn't. He was going up to raise awareness of Flat Earth. Or is he just insane because it's a daredevil stunt? But the reason why he finished it, why he actually jumped, was because there was a documentary team following around the entire time. And it's like, okay, after the first times, eventually, and who knows, maybe it was deliberate, who knows? Because he had these huge waves of media that were following, because it's an interesting story. Go out in the middle of the California desert, this, ex-stuntman, 60 years old, will he die, won't he? Yeah, everyone loves seeing that crap. He might as well have been jumping off his roof into a swimming pool.
Sure.
Same sort of thing. So the third time he was going to do it because the documentary team went to him, obviously, and said, if you don't do this, we don't have a movie. You have to have some sort of Act 3. You have to have some sort of closure. And so all of a sudden, without really any warning, he just goes out to the desert real quick. Okay, let's go in, and launches, and they filmed it, and that was it. He got in. And then that was the third wave of media. Between that, all those things, that took, 6 months, 5 months to do all those 3?
And that was when?
That just happened. Okay. That just happened a month, five weeks ago.
Recently, yeah.
And then finally the stat thing, that statistic thing came out, and then the media started jumping all over that, to where now that, and then there was some weird obscure things, like there was an off-Broadway play called This Flat Earth, which was released just recently.
It's really cool.
Well, it is really cool, but it has nothing to do with Flat Earth. It has to do with a school shooting, of all things. Like kids talking to kids after a school shooting, right? It's like, so this Flat Earth was like this crazy world that's basically, it's like, oh, why didn't you just call it This Crazy World? And it's like, no, because flat Earth has now become synonymous with, there's regular, there's garden variety crazy, there's super insane, then there's flat Earth, which is fine because at least the media is using it as a term. And if anything, it helps the search engines. So,
how weird.
I know. So all these things have been just happened in succession to where now, we become media spoiled. To where now it's like, film festival, we gotta go to the film festival. So.
There's more people watching these videos being showed on YouTube.
Oh,
Yes.
I agree. I know for sure. I have videos, and I know sometimes they stall at 99. I've had videos stall at 99 for months. And I'm like, what? This has been going for hours, and then it stops at 99? That doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody's controlling something.
They have stunted our numbers several times. It's called the stat squish in the gaming world, where what they did was initially when you typed in Flat Earth into YouTube, you could go to any filter and the numbers would always be the same. Then all of a sudden, one day overnight when I was in Canada, the whole thing just got cut down by 40% overnight. And I go to Globebusters, I go to Bob, I go, wow. I go freaking out. When they're killing our numbers. He goes, oh, I never search with that filter. I go, what do you search by? And he goes, upload date. He goes, that's got the real numbers. Upload date, and that's when I realized you could see this with certain things, and they only do it on certain topics. So, like for example, if you type in Lady Gaga, you get 9 million, right? The base. But if you sort by upload date, you get 16. Donald Trump, however, gets 22 million regardless of what filter you use. But if you use Flat Earth, you get 5. If you sort by upload date, you get 20. But most people don't sort by upload date. We do, though. They were trying to basically curb our. They thought I could kind of feel we were getting too hot too fast, and so they didn't want the momentum as to go atomic so quickly. So they said, okay, let's take their numbers down a little bit and let them calm down because we're not ready for this quite yet. And now they are.
You know what makes me a little bit angry, Mark, is that, and I thought this a number of years ago before I was on Flat Earth, there are some very powerful conservative media people, like Rush Limbaugh, for example, who has huge audience. And some of these people have a lot of money, and they could acquire or create infrastructure, conservative, safe infrastructure that could not be tampered with, like you're describing.
I know.
And that has never, ever happened. And so we're subject to the whims of people who hate our guts.
We are, but at the same time, remember, the resistance we've gotten so far has been token at best. Meaning, and you've heard me say this, where, look, the Google search engines, we're always way up there, as a side effect. The fact that we are recommended in YouTube for just about any video anywhere. So unless you're looking up a video on how to bake a particular pie, you're going to get a Flat Earth video recommended to you. In the conspiracy world, it's like, hey, I look up JFK. There's 9 Flat Earth videos. Hey, I look 9/11. There's 10 Flat Earth videos. People were complaining about it so bitterly because they couldn't understand why. And it's because if you start clicking on these, you're not going to search for anything else. So those don't have to be. If they want to stop us, seriously, if they want to even slow us down, they could just not. We're talking about small amounts of code. I had done my share of developing. All you have to do is say, if you see Flat Earth or any combination, you don't recommend it to anybody. You never recommend it. You never put it at the top of the search bar. You can stop us all sorts of different ways, and they're not. They're helping us in some places. In other places, they're like just keeping the door from busting open because they don't know what to. They're trying to. There's a plan here. I don't know what it is. That's one of my things. It's like I'm looking at people.
Creative revealing, they're playing their hands with exposure.
Yeah, I think it comes down to timing. They're trying to time it with something to where, because everybody's in the closet.
They are eventually going to come out and say,
Yes, but not in a direct. It's not going to be. No one at the UN's going to come out one day and say, oh yeah, by the way, the Earth is flat. No, it's going to be. they've limited their moves. We're now to the point of the game where the chessboard, there's only a few pieces left. There's only a couple moves you can make. The piece you can move here is, it's got to be a celestial event. One of two things: either a massive celestial thing that seems organic, like, I don't know, you want to call it Nibiru or Planet X or whatever, that's fine. Or you introduce another species, another civilization. That's the easiest way because it's such a huge distraction, and then you can spin it. Because let's say some giant egg-shaped thing lands somewhere. Whoever gets out, as long as they're better looking than us, they have to be better looking than us.
You mean like Optimus Prime?
No, not metal. If they come out, they have to say, the world isn't what you think it is, or they take it a whole nother way and say, oh yeah, by the way, your world's in peril, we have to evacuate you. That type of thing. And I know it sounds surreal, but you got to remember where you're sitting right now. You're sitting in a flat Earth meeting, not just an odd occurrence. There's flat Earth meetings happening all over the place today. So that's what I think they're going to. That's how I would do it. I turn a celestial event and spin it into something else. Sure. Meaning, we all have to unite together against a foe, like the Ronald Reagan speech, or we have to do. Oh, did somebody show up late? Wow, what'd you find us? Or you introduce an old civilization, because that wouldn't be so much of a stretch. We're at a point in our media world where we've introduced so many different stories over the last 60 years, over about all these different science fiction versions of how aliens are among us and all of this. I mean, literally to where no one alive today. Everyone has a reference. Whether you're 7 years old or you're 7 years old, you have a reference point. So how much of a stretch would it be? If a golden spaceship landed somewhere, no one would be freaking out. They'll be like, who's it going to be? Who's it going to look like? What series is it going to look like? Is it going to be someone like, what can we relate it to? Because we've covered most of the bases. So that's what I think. If I was going to do it, that's what I would do. But no, they're not going to. No one's going to come out one day and say, flat Earth. And Donald Trump.
You want me to 27.
When you get done.
Oh, wait, sign this?
Well, yeah, just a little slogan and a sign.
You know how he talks.
I'm going to go in the classroom.
Gotcha.
Oh, cool.
Just a little. Oh, okay.
Whatever you want to write.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
Planes. One of the best planes. I've been up there 1,000,000 times. The Earth is flat.
Nobody flies more than me.
Yeah, nobody flies more than me. Nobody has a better plane. Nobody has a better view of the flat. And that was before. That's right, and that was before he was elected, or just elected. Was he elected? Was that month?
Selected.
Selected. I'm sorry. Elected by those who select.
That was the other thing. Obama mentions multiple occasions, we don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society, right? Trump hasn't talked about it verbally. I know there was that article that was printed by Germany that he supposedly talked about. I don't know if it's real. But he is not, remember, speeches are very coordinated. It hasn't been mentioned yet by him. Probably for good reason. He's a little tied up at the moment with the fact that they're doing everything they can to impeach him. So at this point, I'm more leaning towards a celebrity coming out that's not in the sports world. Because right now, the only celebs we've had, other than B.O.B., have been in the athletic world, which is fine. That's great. That's great. But actors and actresses, it's a little tougher. That's why I'm really rooting for the documentary, because the documentary gives the mainstream actors and actresses a chance to say, oh, here's something I can relate to and comment on. Whether I like it or not, it's like, it's an interesting story. What'd you think about the Flat Earth documentary, George Clooney? Well, I don't know. Let me tell you, he might have an opinion, he may not, but at least it gives him a chance to act. Because once the first sports guy came out, they were asking everybody they could, but really only the other athletes were commenting. It's like, oh, Kyrie's crazy. Or Kyrie's a smart guy, because most people know. It's like, hey, Kyrie's actually pretty articulate. I mean, he's got a movie coming out next month. He's got a whole comedy thing. The man can act.
Perfect.
The Biz.
Okay, the Biz.
You got it.
Okay.
Are you still shooting me?
Oh yeah, because of Trump and Obama. Got to hear something about that.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh, is this live?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all. No. I don't even have my channel yet.
Oh, okay.
I have.